expectations. Chapter 4. When I visited Miss Havisham the next day, I was sorry that Estella was not there. Miss Sarah Pocket opened the door for me. "What do you want?" Miss Havisham said angrily. "I hope you don't want anything from me, because you will get nothing." "I don't want anything. I have come to say thank you for my apprenticeship," I explained. "Well," Miss Havisham replied, "from now on, come to see me once a year, on your birthday." I promised that I would. "You are looking for Estella, aren't you?" Miss Havisham continued. "She has gone away for her education and she will become a lady. Do you feel that you have lost her, Pip?" She laughed, and I did not know what to say. Then she asked me to leave, so I set off for home. On the way, I met Mr. Wopsle, one of the guests from that Christmas dinner a few years ago, and we walked together. It was getting darker now. In the mist, a man came slowly towards us, and we realized it was Orlick. He told us that some more convicts had escaped from the prison ship, and he seemed to act strangely as he walked with us along the road back. On my return to the house, I was surprised to find a crowd of people in the kitchen. While Joe had been out that evening, someone had broken into our house and they had hit Mrs. Joe on the head, injuring her badly. Nothing had been taken, but a convict's leg irons lay on the floor. I immediately remembered the convict who I had helped 2 years before in the graveyard. However, I felt sure that the person who committed the crime was not him. I suspected Orlick because he had been so angry with my sister. However, I had no proof. Mrs. Joe was unable to speak or walk again after the attack, but she could draw, and won. He sounded like an important man, so we invited him to come back to the workshop with us. Once there, he said he was Mr. Jaggers, a lawyer from London. "I am working for someone but I cannot tell you their name," he explained. "I have to tell you that Pip has great expectations. He will receive a large amount of property in future, so now he must have an education. The only condition is that he does not ask who his benefactor is. I immediately agreed. Joe was so surprised that he did not object at all when Mr. Jaggers asked him if he could end my apprenticeship immediately. I have a large sum of money for you, Mr. Jaggers continued, turning to me, and your education will begin soon in London, with Mr. Matthew Pocket. He will be your teacher and he will make a gentleman of you. But first, take these £20 to buy some new clothes. When Joe was asked if he needed any money for losing me at the blacksmith's, he replied, "Pip is welcome to go and find his fortune. Money makes no difference to my feelings. For him, we will always be best friends." Joe was so good and kind, and really cared about me. When he and Biddy realized that I was to leave them in just a week, they both congratulated me, but they did not say much more than that. I knew that they were sad that I was leaving. My sister did not understand what was happening, although Biddy tried to explain everything to her. I decided that when I had bought my new clothes, I would put them on at Uncle Pumblechook's house. I don't want all the poor people in this village to see me in my fine clothes, I explained to Joe and Biddy. They were both silent. Uncle Pumblechook, however, was delighted. "I will never forget you, Joe," I said, as I left the blacksmith's a week later. However, in truth, I had begun to feel more and more ashamed of Joe's poor education. When I said goodbye to Biddy, I asked if she could teach Joe to speak better, but to my surprise she refused. Suddenly, I felt lonelier than ever before.